Hex-a-gone, my favorite game mode in Fall Guys, the game that took the world by a storm and kind of died off but still has a very large player base. Anyways, that's probably not what you're here for. Let's dive into the tips and tricks for Hex-a-gone. The reason that I think I'm qualified to make this is because I've won so many Hex-a-gones before. Not as much as some other people, but I currently have 40 wins. As you can see, also my skin itself, my costume itself is worth 12 crowns total. Like my whole outfit, it's 12 crowns, and I still have an additional 30 crowns. So I've got a couple of wins, and I think I'm qualified to give some tips and tricks, especially with Hex-a-gone, because I feel like it's the final where I am most consistent, along with Fall Mountain. However, Fall Mountain has recently changed in the update, so I'm not able to make a video on Fall Mountain just yet, but Hex-a-gone hasn't changed and I have a lot of experience with this, so today I'll be giving you guys some tips and tricks for it. And if I do help you guys, please leave a like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's jump right in. So we'll begin by analyzing my gameplay. By the way, if you guys enjoy my content, then please do support the channel by hitting that subscribe button, and if you wish to see more epic content in the future, then turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any future videos. So when you're at the top, I typically just try my best to stay as high as I can. I don't do anything fancy like going down and breaking all the blocks. Pretty much every game, I just try my best to stay as high as possible. However, there are times when you don't want to just take it slow, right? Because you might notice a lot of people, they do slow jump like I'm doing right now. But sometimes it's essential to run a lot and cut like a big area for yourself. However, if there is no exact big area, then just do a slow jump as I'm doing. I'll summarize the tips later at the towards the end of the video. For now, we're just gonna analyze my gameplay. I see this guy coming, so I cut him off and I continue taking it slowly. Probably should have gone the other side. Oh, and I do go the other side. And as you can see, the reason I moved here is because below me there's this large chunk of hexagons. So I jumped down, tried to cut her off, and I thought I did good enough, so I went like this way so that I could come back eventually, but she made the jump. However, when I look back, she actually fell down. So now I have this whole layer to myself and I'm above everyone else. That's what you want to try and achieve basically in Hex-a-gone. You want to try and stay as high as possible. I think that just gives you the biggest odds of winning. You want to be able to master slow jumping that I'm doing, even slower than me. If you try and do it even slower than me, I'm not the best at it yet, but I'm doing it good enough to not have to focus on my gameplay as much, but rather on focus on my strategy and where I'm gonna jump next. So like I said, being at the top gives you a big advantage because you just have so many blocks that you can continue using up while everyone else struggles down there. As you can see, I'm still really high up, and there's just a few more people to get eliminated, 2 more people, and I'm gonna win. And I have so many blocks that I can use, right? Don't worry, I'm gonna give more tips once I'm done. We're just gonna watch my gameplay. That is also another thing that I want you guys to look at. I'll talk about it later if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's really big to just stay on top and have as much hexagons as you can for yourself. Okay, and you don't have to risk anything. As you can see, I didn't bother taking those 2 because I wanted to be able to make sure I could make that jump and stay up here. And then I go down here. You want to always look up and look down at the same time whilst making sure your movement is all right. And it might seem like a very hard thing to do, but I think after just about 20 hours of gameplay, you should be able to be pretty good at that. Because when I started off with Hex-a-gone, I wasn't exactly that great at it. In fact, it was my worst one. It was my worst mode when I started off, as you can see in this gameplay. But eventually, I got better. As I was playing more, I began to learn the movement of Fall Guys, and it's actually not that hard. And right now, Hex-a-gone is my favorite mode to play because to me, it feels like it has the least amount of RNG involved. It's more about your own skills rather than, the RNG. So anyways, let's just summarize this into a shorter form of tips and tricks that I've written down. I've got 5 tips and tricks and a bonus tip. So make sure to watch until the end to see all of them. So starting off, number 1, you should aim to stay as high as possible for as long as possible. Okay, prioritize staying up. prioritize staying up, okay? Make sure you guys do whatever you can to stay up, and I'm going to give you some more tips that can help you stay up. So the second tip is to stop running all the time. You want to try and slow jump. You want to try and slow jump as much as you can, okay? Sometimes, like I said, you're not going to be able to, so that's why tip number 3, if there's people near that can reach you, don't slow jump. It's better to cut them off ASAP, right? You want to cut them off as fast as possible, even if it gives you a bit less hexagons than you normally get if you didn't cut them off. It's not worth it. Make sure that you get a large chunk of hexagon for yourself and cut off any other connections to it, alright? Tip number 4, always plan ahead. Do not take a route that will lead you to falling down further once you run out of blocks, okay? You want to be able to look forward and below at the same time so that you can plan out your route and be able to go somewhere where once you're out of hexagons, you fall down to a larger chunk of hexagons. Understand? Tip number 5 is just going to be something a bit obvious, which is just, mastering the movement will make it a lot easier. Basically what I kind of just said, I accidentally said it without mentioning it, but yeah, tip number 5 is just, mastering the movement will make it a lot easier, as it will allow you to focus on your strategy rather than the gameplay, right? You want to focus more on your strategy rather than the gameplay, because when you're focusing too much on your gameplay, it becomes hard to plan out your route, which is why, you want to spend more time just playing the game and spend more just hope that you get into more hexagon games so that you can kind of master the movement and the jumps and the dives and the distance. Some of you might think that these tips are useless, but these are for beginners, so maybe a lot of you guys already know this, but some of you guys might not know about it, which is why I'm mentioning it right now. So bonus tip number 1, because there's actually 2 bonus tips, one that I had planned from before and another one which I didn't have planned, but I just thought of it just now. So the first tip is, if someone is actually running right beside you, there's something that you can do that is kind of risky but also pays a big reward, right? If someone's running right beside you or right in front of you, you can grab them and release them right away, and they will actually fall down, because if you grab them, they'll not be able to move, and if they don't expect that, and you just grab them all of a sudden, release them and continue moving, there's a really good chance that you're gonna stay up and they're gonna fall down. If there's just one final person, you guys are chasing each other and you guys are both about to run out of hexagons, that might be a good choice to do. And another tip that I just wanted to say, in case some of you guys didn't already know, you guys can jump and dive about 2.5 hexagon distance, sort of. You want to do this when you're trying to get to a place that you can't reach with a regular jump, obviously. And an important thing to keep in mind is that once you do this jump, you want to spam jump right after, because otherwise you're going to fall down. So as soon as you jump and dive and you've landed on another hexagon, you want to spam jump while holding forward so that you do not fall down but rather reach the next one. And don't panic when you do this, because if you panic, it's going to lead to your death. You want to stay calm the whole time. It can be quite hard to do, but the more you play, the easier it gets, alright? And that's all my tips and tricks. If I've missed something, I'll write it down in the comments. If you guys have any other tips for beginners or even for advanced players, really any tips at all, then mention it in the comments so you can help everyone else out. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.